Attorney General Assembly, I don't have a single financial report up to date. I don't have a single financial report. From the days when Luel said he was paying out of his own pocket, I don't have a report, to now when actually I have record of national companies giving money for the national team. I never oversaw that spending. So there's a lot of overreach from the office of the president. You know, we were elected not out of nothing or dumbness from the people that elect us. They wanted us to have checks and balances. But if you look at it now, the president is the president, the SG, the finance, the technical team, the head coach, and the treasurer. Because finance and treasurer are different. Now, let me point out the conflict in this. If we have all the departments set up correctly, we will all sit, discuss, that's including the department concerned, let's say information. Information wants an advertisement budget. They will bring it to us, bring the budget, we'll all discuss. If it's approved by the president, the SG, then it comes to me for an allocation. When can we allocate this money? And then I release the money. But now, if you have the president, he is the president that is discussing the project, he is the approver, he is actually also cashing in the, where's the checks and balances? And the president is not doing this out of ignorance. He's taking the country for granted. Because he has LDF in the UK, and he has the same in the US. And he has done businesses in these places. But I doubt he actually held every position in those businesses that he was involved. So I ask myself, why are we doing it at home? You guys as journalists, you should hold us accountable. We all come from the West. The two of us are American citizens. If I never litter in the US when I'm driving down the road, I don't throw anything out. Why would I come to Dubai to be allowed to do so? You know? If you find someone that knows better and behave different, you should hold them accountable. So if the president does not do this when he is in the West, why is he allowed to do it at home? Shouldn't we all behave better? That's the question for all of you, South Sudanese. You know, if we do not hold ourselves to that standard, then where are we going? The whole fight here is we're fighting for institution. We want tomorrow when a finance secretary come after me, I hand him files. Right now we still have an estimated budget of $170,000. That's the national team budget. That has all the salaries, all the per diem, you know, and miscellaneous. It's not a big bill for a country. We still have it as an estimated budget. After 3 years, that's wrong. We should actually have a proper budget that we develop over these years. You know, and we can have a point of reference to that. So, as we are right now, we don't have any agreement with any entity. You know, LDF and the Federation don't have any financial agreement, don't have any sort of agreement on how to run those businesses together. We don't have any sponsorship that I'm aware of. We've never received any funding directly to SSPF. The only money that we received is when we wanted to do the National League. And those came from actually companies that have something to do with me, so directly it's money that was released on my side, and I don't want to claim that money. And those materials are there right now. We have over 240 something jerseys, trophies and everything. The tournament is ready. but it was sabotage. You know? So, if, as a head of finance, I don't have any agreement with any entity, should we all take the president's word for it? That he says, okay, I was paying out of my pocket, because the way donation works, if I say I'm going to support the federation, this is how also it works in the West. It has to come out of my pocket, or write a check, give it to that entity, and that entity is accountable back to me. That never happened. So it was a spending out of pocket. The president himself turned around and in press conferences that you guys covered, saying he has sponsors. I'm unaware of those sponsors. The SG is not aware of the sponsors. So how does that work? You know, do we work for South Sudan or someone else? Because this is a public entity. We are here today, somebody will come and take over tomorrow. You see? So how does this work really? You know, we just take somebody's word for it all along. So the only reason we have conflict with the president, and I will finish, is that, you know, we refuse to pick up pom-poms. You know, these cheerleaders, they carry these flary things. You know, when there's a break, we refuse to carry those and start turning to cheerleaders. That's the only reason. Everybody now in basketball community, and most even the senior members that's supposed to show us the way, they turn into cheerleaders. That's why we can't even find a way forward. The truth is so glaring right there. It's right before everybody's eyes. The Constitution is clearly, it states, you know, the conflict of interest is so clear. Everything that was supposed to be done, federation, is done London Foundation. And nobody's saying anything. That's the only conflict we have now with Lord, is because we have a dissenting voice that says, no, this is not right. You know? So I will stop here. If I have left anything out, maybe your questions will bring it back up, or in our closing remarks, we will still address it. Thank you.
Okay, yes. I have the question. It goes direct to both of you. One, starting from communication, finance. According to Luan, and it is the thing to say, it was a trending of the week. He said if they are to reinstall all of you back after sorting out the problem which you are having, you may step out of the federation. Then my question goes is, what does the Constitution says if you breach a law? Because it's always there, if you breach a law, what is the fine? And the article number 1 says, if the president himself doesn't go in the right way, General Assembly always have a vote of confidence against Secretary, President, that we call it, that is impeachment. They may impeach him at a 0 minute. What does the Constitution say? Because for us as a media, the only thing we failed to get was the Constitution of the basketball. We could even ask both sides, even asking a lawyer, because we have been trying, we couldn't even get. So what you may start for us with the Constitution, because of what he said. The Constitution nobody says about what all of you say, so that we can keep on asking the rest of the questions. Thanks.
All right. Let me take this. I'm not going to quote for you the Constitution. We'll give you the Constitution as you believe. Let's talk about his statement. He says he issued a suspension.
Yes.
Let me correct him on that one first. He cannot suspend us. He can file a complaint. Right? The General Assembly is the one that has the right of suspension. Okay? That's one. Let's say even he followed the correct channels. He filed a claim and we were found guilty and suspended. Right? Pending an investigation. Right? Why does he preempt the investigation before the findings come out? He says, if we're investigated and found not guilty, right?
Yes.
He's going to resign.
Yes. If
So
the General Assembly reinstates you back.
yes, you are always reinstated if you are found not guilty, right?
Yes.
Now, does that make sense? It does not make any sense. If I suspect the SG of Miss D today, I file a complaint, it's investigated, it's explained, and he's found of no fault. Shouldn't he be able to get back to his work? He should be resume his job because he's not guilty. So the president is contradicting himself. When we say the issues between us and him are administrative, if they are administrative, it's because he's overreaching his powers on his mandate. We say, stop overreaching. Do your job, let me do my job, let the SG do his job, let information, let technical do their job, right? And we continue. We never said we will not work with him. He's the one who said he will not work with us. If we are at fault, did you guys receive any list of the committee members that were formed?
We need to receive, but we saw them physically when they came back during the day.
No. I'm not saying when a committee, an investigative committee is formed,
We did not receive.
there is a release of
receipt.
names and their titles. Some are members, some are. It wasn't there.
The letter was not shared with them. The only suspension letter was the one shared with them.
And that's my point exactly. So this was for public consumption. This was not for any fact finding. This was misleading. So all the signatures for LDF can take place while everybody assumes we are suspended. That's it.
So, just not to cut you short now. So far, he's refusing to work with you over here in South Sudan. And your group wants to work with him. So now, do you have any plans in case he refuses entirely and he's not going to work with you?
Let me do correction. We are not saying we want to work with him. The Constitution that elected us, our tenure has not finished. This country belongs to all of us. If the president can accommodate people that disagreed with him several times, and now he works with them, right? Who are we in the federation? If we're really working for South Sudan, no self-interest at all. Why would I work with Maria? I don't have to like Maria to work with Maria. The rules and regulations are clear. If I go according to rules and regulations, it's okay, you know? So, we are not saying we want to work with him. We say the Constitution, the body that elected us, has a mandate for all three of us. Until this mandate runs out, we don't mind working with him. But we are not saying we have to work with him.
So, you know, why I'm asking this is, now as the SG talked earlier on, there was suspension of some trainings. We mean, if it continues like that, okay, what happens?
That's the question for him. Because it's good you brought back the suspension part. It proves my point, what I just spoke about. Imagine this was training for coaches and refs, okay? And this bill actually was picked up by one of South Sudan business entities as a CSR, right? How does that training prevent itself because three of us disagree? Will the ref not be given the right knowledge because we in disagreement? The guys that are coming from FIBA with the knowledge to pass on. Why would we suspend that? The country can benefit while we disagree, right? It's training. It's not training for him, not for me, not for Lord. It's for officials. So you should ask him when you see him next, why did you suspend the training? How does it involve the disagreement of the executive? If FIBA allows us to write them and they oblige by sending people, why would the president object to that training? Who loses now? It's the country. It's not Maria, it's not me. The country loses.
Hello, sir. I have a question. My name is Joshua. I work in the city living. Just to expand on what she's basically to emphasize on what she's asking is that we have a statement here. A president who has committed that he's not going to work with you, and then the majority, which is you guys, you're on the other side, saying we are ready to work with you because we have a 10-year mandate to deliver. And then so there's a statement, definitely. What is then the question is what next for South Sudan basketball federation? And then on the same very note, and then why did it take you guys this long to respond to these allegations? Why now? Because the reason why I'm asking that is that there may be something hidden down there, like he said, like maybe you might consider taking legal action on the the character assassination that, or the accusation that, if at all, then maybe we need to know. Maybe we find a case, and if at all, like we need to do something.
Thank you. Now, I'm going to touch on a few things. I'm going to go back to your point as well. The issues that we've noted, what we've mentioned, and we talked about. I think there's so much violation from the president's side. You don't see us saying we can't work. You don't see us saying we can't sit down and talk. We're actually demanding, we're asking for General Assembly to sit down as quick as next week so we can iron out these issues. President has sat down alone with the General Assembly and told the General Assembly, I don't want to work with these people. Either you work with me or you guys work with him. And I am not going to sit down. This is something he said a year ago. What you people just heard him say recently in the press conference, he told General Assembly already. That goes to say that he is above the Constitution. We say otherwise. There's no betting out. We came in to do work for the country. Our basketball has done some great things, and our nation is so proud at this moment. It's such a sad situation that we get to talk about this rather than actually focus on good things that are happening. We have a General Assembly, the highest body within the Constitution that we'll give you guys later. There's AGM, which is General Assembly, then there's Executive, and then there's another Secretariat, or the Secretariat under myself. General Assembly get to decide what needs to be done. If, per se, he decides to walk, as he said, and Brother Mayan touched on it earlier, Manut played his role and he's gone. We're going to play our role, we're going to leave. There is no point in life are we going to feel that we can give ultimatum to the country to decide. This is basketball. There will be basketball after us. There was basketball before us. So, to answer you, this question will come down to General Assembly. As we sit here, we want General Assembly to be done as urgent as it should be done.
Who calls the General Assembly?
President calls it and he's refusing.
So then, what next?
Constitutionally, 2/3 of the General Assembly can actually decide to call the General Assembly. But even that process is being sabotaged.
Did you table a letter for the General Assembly to be called?
They've tabled
Yes.
3 letters to the ministry. Okay? To himself, to all of us. We gave our consent that we are ready to give our reports of 2 years, and we're going to actually the 3rd year. So as we sit here, as South Sudan Basketball Federation that is based in Junub, we want to sit as soon as possible. We want to sit with the mediators that are. We tried with all the mediators. We sat down. The only person that don't want to sit down is Lual. And the only person that Lual is meeting in South Sudan through this crisis is only the minister at Minobodi.
Okay, I do mean to understand. Last year, you held a press conference together with us in the same hall. There is a statement whereby all of you said you called for one for the General Assembly and you met with the ministry. Minister of that is a Youth and Sport, the one who are heading it. And you, since minister is a politician who can go at any time, Director General are the permanent staffs of the ministry. Did you try to channel your letter to the DG and is Deputy and the Director of Youth and Sport.
All right. Some of these questions actually need to be directed at the ministry, because we don't want to speak on their behalf. But they're all aware of what is happening.
Yeah, the reason is you say
Yeah.
we need to attach his.
Yes, the letters are there. If you guys want it, we'll give you copies. We also will not defend Lord's statement. We can only defend our statement. We are not the creators of the stalemate, right? A lot of people don't know this. What basketball is doing now, he started when we went to Egypt the first time. This, us now being in the office, he's the one who started it and approached me. And then Lord actually joined us a week or so before the date of the election, right? We had to change the constitution because it says that the president must reside within the country. We had to accommodate him to be in here. Mind you, I don't know if everybody is hypnotized or what is going on. Imagine someone that comes to the country a couple of times a year, right? Does it make sense that he can operate operations in South Sudan by proxy? Like, even in the letter, someone with simple logic can ask him, how do you want these guys to consult with you on a day-to-day basis and you live in Miami? It does not make any sense. Okay, if we are to run activities within South Sudan here, should we engage the business entities within South Sudan, which we did? That's why we went to Zain. You know, the check for Zain, he stopped it through the Minister of Youth and Sports. That money till today is there with Zain. So, how are we supposed to work? You see? Today, if we leave, it doesn't cost us a thing. We're actually losing time and money. We're all volunteers. There is no one getting paid in the federation. You see? I've been doing things for sports within South Sudan since 2014. I own teams. You've never heard of it. You're hearing for the first time now, right? Yes, because it's not for public consumption. If you're doing it, do it. You know? But don't come and hold country hostage because you're paying the bill. Delegation is 21 members. The teams that I send out every time is 21 members. So what is so special? South Sudanese that come to play for the national team. I hope all South Sudanese hears this. These kids will play for South Sudan. Whether Lol is there, whether I'm there, or Maria is there. They can't even pronounce their name, but they love the country. They will forever play. So this notion of this national team will just disappear because we're doing things right does not make any sense. Why can't we administrate if we do right and still have a successful national team? Can we have both? We can have both. This is purely administrative. It has nothing to do with the national team. You see? This is failure from actually, if this was left for the General Assembly, it would have been solved long time ago. I'll give you an example. When you go to divorce court, right? You want to leave your wife, and you give useless reasons. The court has the right to tell you, listen, my friend, go think this over. These are not reasons for divorce. There are no grounds here for divorce. Trust me, that's what the law says. You see? So now, you read the letter, the suspension letter. Look at the dates of these incidents. Most of these incidents happened when the last one is when the girls played in Rwanda. Wasn't that a year ago? What's so special that it came out now? The president wanted to just take advantage of the momentum. South Sudan basketball team did well in Rwanda. let me take this now. The country will be in a different mood. I come back from Tunisia, we're qualifying for the first time to the World Cup. Oh, great opportunity. Let me give the country an ultimatum. I can never work with these guys. If they're there, I'm gone. And the country will start believing that their future and his future are intertwined. That's a lie. They have nothing to do with the other. When it comes to your question on the legal aspect, I have my name. No matter how small it is, Maria does, and so do you. You cannot be allowed to defame me in any way, shape, or form. Even the country is not allowed to defame a person if it's not true. You can take a country to court. So yes, we reserve the right to take it to court as individuals. You know, he charged us here. I'm in finance. I live in South Sudan. I know so much of what is happening within the Federation in the financial aspect. Don't be surprised if I bring charges too. Because according to the Constitution, I'm active. I'm active. So the fact that the President said I'm suspended does not make me suspended unless the law says so. If the law does not agree with him, guess what? Anything that he does on my behalf is illegal. So, yes, South Sudan Basketball Federation reserves the right to pursue legal action. I myself, as an individual, I reserve the right to pursue a legal action anywhere.
Just a follow-up question. You mentioned that the Constitution does not allow the President maybe to suspend the ST and the finance. And according to the statement that we got from the President, he went ahead and appointed the acting finance and the acting SD, of which is currently working with them. And you have said that you are not suspended because the Constitution does not allow you to be suspended. Are your office working, the two of you? Is your office active? And how are you responding to FIBA? And yet the two acting finance and the acting SD is also working there. How are you responding, the two of you?
Okay. You see, the way it works, the three of us, nobody has the right of appointment. We suggest a list of names. They will be vetted and given to the General Assembly. The General Assembly endorses them. Then we take that list to the ministry. Once the registrar endorses them, now they're official. That's how the process works. By merely appointing does not mean anything. Like I said, if constitutionally I'm not suspended, it's illegal, whatever he did is illegal. Whoever is acting on my behalf is acting illegally too. That's what the law says, it's not me.
Is your office working?
Yes. This is the office.
Yes, yeah, you in communication with FIBA?
Yes.
Let me tell you guys, go to FIBA website and look it up. If we're suspended, we will not be up on the website. And this is the address, by the way, on FIBA website. This office you're in now.
Thanks a lot. Thank you so much to us. We don't appreciate We don't have any questions. That's what we wanted.
No, before you close, sorry. One thing came into my mind. As the basketball struggle continues in South Sudan, we see international arena in which we're doing so great as a country, and also we have local basketball. There are players in South Sudan. Newsflash: majority of South Sudanese are actually based in South Sudan, worldwide. So this is where, if we want to shine, we need to shine here. Club of Cobra, I think most of you guys know Cobra. Cobra has been doing a lot locally here, giving our young players, chances to play in the international arena. Also, they've been competing at BAL for the last 3 years, I believe, in which last season they did very well. They lost in Cairo and didn't qualify to the next stage. Cobra come through a process of winning a league. BAL is a league that all the champions in Africa get to compete in BAL for the right of being the best team champion in Africa. This year, Cobra has won the local league, which is the local active league right now in South Sudan, the only active league in South Sudan, which now represents us. The process of Cobra going last year into BAL faced issues with the same president, and this is not a claim, but this is actually a fact that President Lual have nothing locally for South Sudan. In anything locally here, you see, it's funny to say this. All the moves that you see are happening in South Sudan, like the league that was sponsored by SSBF through foundation, there was a program we put together as a federation, and we went to Zayn to sponsor it. That's those jerseys that Dave was talking about. He shut it down. He canceled it through ministry, which is albino, and goes now to pay out of his pocket to run that league. The women league that you guys are seeing now happening, there was a program that we put together for about 7 months. We have their uniforms. We even have local South Sudanese people in South Sudan that paid their money for the kids in South Sudan to play basketball. That also was shut down, and he took money out of his pocket and paid for that league. I was hoping Dane would touch on that earlier, but he forgot to do it. Yes, we understand how many working with us. You put in donation, you get that in tax credit. That's not a problem. We don't have a problem with that. But that doesn't mean you get to shut down all the local companies that are willing to give back. CSR is open for everyone. So, back to Cobra. Cobra has been doing this for years, and they have lifted the spirit of South Sudanese kids here. They are the symbol of our local national team here. Because our local players in South Sudan don't get a chance to play in the national team. So Cobra is the only platform where they actually get to play. I have received a note from FIBA with the form of registration for BAL. That form was supposed to be signed in July 22nd. The form has been sitting in the office of Lual up till now, and he has not signed it, so Cobra can go compete. Guess what? Today, just about 2 hours ago, the teams that are competing for the next round of BAL is already out. That is a sabotage. So Cobra is not in it. The form is here, sitting in his office. Don't want to sign it. That's another. You want accusation? That's us accusing him for not wanting anything to be done locally here. Cobra goes. If Cobra goes, he does well. Now that gives hope to kids in South Sudan. Now, as a young player, when I was young, I had to see a player and talk to him to feel like I can be close to these players. Most players that play on our national team barely come home. And the only time they came home, guess what? It was actually a demand and a request from the president of the republic. That's why the national team came home. The national team was not going to come home. So, for us here, what do we tell our young kids? What do we tell our young South Sudanese kids? You have to go to US and come back so you can play for the national team. That's basically what we're telling them.
Okay.
So this Cobra thing is something that I'm going to put out there so people also can, if anyone out there have a way to ask Lual, you can ask him, why aren't you signing the form so Cobra can go compete? That was something that I forgot to mention earlier. And,
okay, I have a question to all of you before you speak. Guys, in South Sudan Football Association, they usually receive, that's 100 million from that is FIFA, to run for their running cost in the office. Do you also, as a South Sudan Football SSBF, receive the same amount from FIBA, like you receive any amount whereby FIBA gives as the running cost to one of their member committee? Yes.
May I go ahead? What do you wanted to say?
There is, the question you asked about the letter of the submission. Nobody has asked why is this happening, yet it means nothing. I'm going to answer you that if you knowledge is power. You know, we are under FIBA, the Federation of International Basketball Association. FIBA is a very big government. For you to be able to successfully suspend someone, you need official documentation. And for you to have official documentation, it is a process, like he explained. What Mr. Lawless created is a shortcut to give him time for FIBA to entertain the fact that we were going to be dealing with Mr. Loden alone for the meantime, as he does his investigations. FIBA, as a very just and fair entity, would want an explanation of why we are not seeing the signature of the SD. We are bringing contracts and agreements without the presence of the finance. We have big companies now like MTN, they sign something. We have the World Bank, Stanbic.
And we have Nick, which is also
exactly. Do you think such big organizations with legal departments will sit down and sign an agreement without constitutionally elected SG and the finance? That is why these things have been put in the public. The General Assembly do not have a letter saying that we are filing a case or we are suspending this guy. This is the law. This data is not for the federation. It's for his action outside. So you guys wake up, ask the right questions, and you find the truth.
Yes.
Yeah,
my question.
Quickly before Dennis picks up on this one. There has been transactions, illegal transactions, financial transactions, and I'll let Dennis touch on those. To respond to your point, FIBA normally doesn't operate like FIFA. The majority of support we get from FIBA, it's in kind, material, basketballs, rims, trainings, and whistles and whatnot. So we give them in kind. It's normally not money. There was one transaction, and Danny's going to let you guys know about it, that came from FIBA, which is illegally received that didn't go to his account. So FIBA doesn't do that. The items that we have, and we have plenty in Abidjan, Ivory Coast. We have plenty of basketball rims and board and everything that are there that we're supposed to pick up. Even that process is being blocked. When I came back from Cairo in April, we talked to FIBA, and I was supposed to actually go pick them up. Now he has communicated to FIBA that I'm not authorized to pick them up. By the way, this claim, and I said earlier, to keep us out of this, so things can function in one direction. I'm being kept out because constitutionally I'm powerful. I have the mandates. FIBA talks to me. Someone asked earlier, has FIBA talked to you? Yes, FIBA talked to me. In fact, I have an email from FIBA with an email that Lul himself wrote to FIBA begging them to stop talking to me. And that in that email, he indicated that Honorable Dr. Albino, Boldio and him are working on the final move to remove us in the Federation once for all. So now, you people who are listening out there or know someone that can actually talk to Albino or in the government that can bring this up, the minister is interfering. And I have the email, and I can give you guys a copy of that email.
Thank you.
All right, in regards to that, everything financial, if you're not mandated to deal with it, is criminal. That's why I'm not giving you any specifics earlier. So there are funds that came from Solidarity Funds from FIBA. It's 22 euros, 22,000 euros. That money is confirmed has been given to us, but it's not in the official account that I run. So I will leave it at that. I'm not going to go in depth. Any financial matters are literally criminal. If your personal money, it's a different deal. But if it's money that was received on behalf of an entity, an institution, and you're not mandated to deal with that, that is criminal.
Okay.
So I have launched an investigation already, just to let you know. I know where the money went. I know an account that is being operated under South Sudan Basketball Federation that does not have anything to do with me as an office. He is not aware of it. So I want to know who runs that account, how was it opened, because to open an account actually you need a resolution. And the resolution needs to be signed by the three of us, or two of us at least. We have to resolute to open an account. And we have to mandate somebody to operate the account. So with that said, I'm investigating that account. What went in it, how it was opened, and once I have all the information, I will still let you know.
Okay, do you still have access to the account of SSPF?
I have the one that I'm mandated to run,
But
which it never received not even a single pound. It's zero up to today.
Okay, thanks. That's what we wanted to know. Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you so much guys for coming.
Okay, we appreciate it.
This is the end of our press conference.
Thank you.